Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the absorption of drug from non-per oral extravascular route other than the oral route. So the majority of the drugs are administered generally we can go for the oral administration. They are widely used for the administration of drug through the GI tract. So majorly drugs we can go use the orally, so their absorption through the GI tract. But in some case that absorption from the oral routes are not acceptable, some factors affecting for that parts, and that we can get the poor viability or poor absorption profile with the oral route. That times we have to prefer other than the oral routes. So like the viability problems are there, patient compliance problems are there with the route, oral route, first pass metabolism, first pass effect. When we would require the immediate drug action, fast actions, onset of action required, that time also the oral routes are not preferable. So these are the points that we have to consider, so we can choose the other options, other route as compared to oral administrations are there. So drug absorption from non-oral extravascular routes is governed by the same factors like influence of the absorption of drug from GI tract. The physicochemical profile of drug is not suitable with oral absorption through GI tract. Formulation based factors, anatomy and physiology of that GI tract, pathophysiological condition of that patient. So that times we can choose other route as compared to oral routes are there. So non-per-oral means the other than oral routes which bypass the GI tract and reach to the systemic circulation. So sometimes with oral absorption profile we can go for the non-per-oral route, so that bypass the first pass metabolism process, first pass effect, so that reach to the systemic circulation directly, so that improve the absorption viability profile of that particular drug. So which are the non-per-oral routes are there? So buccal or sublinguals are there, rectal administration, topical administrations, parenteral parts are there, so IV, intramuscular, subcutaneous, so many parenteral routes are there, pulmonary, intranasal, intraocular and vaginal type of routes we can use for the other than oral route for the drug absorption. We have to see one by one. The first one, that is buccal or sublingual administration. So buccal route, the medications or the drug which are applied between the cheek and the gum, and the sublingual routes, that is placed under the tongue and allow for the go for the resolution. So that is the one of the options that we have to use for the better absorption as compared to oral route. So the advantages of that buccal or sublingual administrations, so rapid absorptions are there as compared to oral route. No first pass metabolism or hepatic metabolisms are there. No degradation of drug as compared to the GI part. So that is the advantages that apply. So higher the amount of viability or the absorption profile we can get from the buccal or sublingual route. Disadvantages that we have to consider: the taste that directly affect into the mouth of the patient, so that go for the discomfort, non-compliance. Limited mucosal surface area, so smaller the dose that we have to administer. So that are the disadvantages of that buccal sublingual parts are there. Which are the factors that affecting that route? So we require the high lipophilicity nature of the drug, high lipodial nature, so that better go for the absorption through that buccal route, sublingual route. Salivary secretion, so that give the addition. The high lipid soluble drugs are there as compared to soluble in aqueous buccal fluid. So drug require the biphasic solubility in lipophilic nature also, and some aqueous solubility also require. pH of the saliva, say around the 6, the buccal pH are there, so that also affect the ionization part of the drug. So we have to require the unionized form of the drug. So particular pH we have to require the drug is in unionized form, not go for the ionization part. So that also alter the absorption of the drug. Binding to the oral mucosa, so systemic availability of drug that bind to the oral mucosa is poor. thickness of that oral epithelium. So in that case, sublingual absorption is, we can say, faster than the buccal part. So epithelial of the former region is thinner and it immerses in the larger volume of saliva. So these are regarding the buccal or sublingual route of administration. Next one, that is rectal administrations are there. So still that is important route for the administration of drug for the child and the older patient. Drug which are administered by that route, that is in the form of solution or the suppositories. Solution like enemas and the suppositories that are widely used by the rectal administration. So absorption is more rapid as a form of solution as compared to the suppository part, and the absorption by that route, it follows the passive diffusion process. Example like drug aspirin, paracetamol, like the drugs that we have to apply with the rectal part. Advantage is absorption is more rapid, bypass the pre-system and hepatic metabolism, so increase the viability part are there. Disadvantages that we have to consider. So absorption process sometimes irregular, incomplete, or less. Irritation problems are also there in the rectal mucosa. The factors that govern the rectal administrations, so presence of the fecal matters, so that alter the absorption process or retard it. pH, that also influence the drug absorption. So we can see ionization part, pH partition hypothesis, rectal pH, rectal fluid pH around 7.5 to 8. Drug irritability, surface area also role taking part, lesser the surface area, so less amount of drug absorbed by that route compared to oral route or other routes are there. Next one, the topical administration. So in that, the skin we can consider as the largest organ for the body, of the body parts are there. That skin is commonly employed for the local administration as well as also used for the systemic effect also. Dosage forms that we have to apply with the topical part, that is cream, ointment, lotion, gels, and nowadays novel we have to go for the transdermal route of administrations. So we have to use the skin for the absorption part. For that, the advantages part we can consider with the topical: protect the drug from GI tract, so first pass metabolisms, increase the patient compliance by reducing the dosing frequency, easy to terminate if we can get some toxic unwanted effects, so we can terminate by removing the transdermal patch. So that is the parts. The factor, the skin condition, the composition of the topical vehicle, the application process, some external or environmental factors are there. So for the absorption through topical route through the skin, the factors we can consider for the permeation part or passively absorption of that percutaneous absorption process. So the barrier, principal barrier, that is stratum corneum, the thickness of the stratum corneum, so the absorptions is very low from that regions, that is highly restricted parts are there. For the absorptions of drug with the topical parts, the presence of hair follicles that creating the role, so that go for the rapid absorption from that hair follicle roots. We can improve the permeation of that drug with the skin by hydration of that skin, so that promote the absorption part. Some environmental factor like humidity and temperature, higher the humidity, temperature, so both the case, the rate of hydrations of that skin, so that influence the drug absorption. What are there? We can go for the excipients, like we can use for permeation enhancer, so that increase the permeability of the drug by using some chemical enhancer like DMSO. We can go for propylene glycol like that, so that we can use to enhance the permeability and absorption part of the drug. Next one, that is route, that is parenteral route. So in that, so many routes are there. We can go for the intravenous into the vein part, Intramuscular, we can go for the skeletal muscles part, are subcutaneous route, subcutaneous tissue. Intradermal, into the skin. Intra-arterial, intrathecal, peritoneal, or articular. So these are the parenteral routes. Widely we can go for the IV, intramuscular, and the subcutaneous route are there. We have to see one by one. So IV, intravenous injections. So it is used to introduce drug directly to the systemic circulation, directly into the blood part. We have to use that infusion pump, catheters like that we have to apply, and directly we have to enter our drug into that systemic circulation. Advantages, so 100% probabilities are there. Directly we have to introduce into the systemic circulation. Absorption phase we have to negligent or bypass. Rapid effect, rapid onset of actions. Within the few seconds or minutes, the drug distribute throughout the body. Avoid first pass metabolisms. Large quantity we can give. And drugs which are not suitable or absorbed from orally, we have to go for the parenteral parts. Some disadvantages are there. Cannot recall if we apply with the IV routes. Technical assistance or technicality required for administration of dose. Less convenient, painful. So that type of disadvantages are there with that IV route. Next one, that is intramuscular. So absorption of drug from intramuscular side is relatively rapid, but much slower or compared with the IV route. In that part, which are the factors that we have to consider? So these are that vascularity of that injection site, lipid solubility, molecular size, volume of injections, and the viscosity of that injectable vehicles like that. Advantages, oily suspension, depot formation, slow release preparations we have to give with that muscular part. Drug which degrade from oral route, rapid onset of action is required. Disadvantages considered, we can say that metabolism drug in muscle tissues, precipitation of drug sometimes in the injection site, and the last one, that is irritations or painfulness are there because oily suspension or oily viscous solutions we have to deliver with that intramuscular route. Other than IV, intramuscular subcutaneous route slower than intramuscular due to poor perfusion parts are there. Use when slow response we have to require. Drug degrade when taken orally. Limitations for the subcutaneous part, irritations of the drug. Large volume cannot be given, and mostly insulin injections that we have to use with that subcutaneous part. The advantages, rapid onset of action, pain not required, occur when patch is used. Okay. Use for the vaccines and the drug not absorbed orally, that time we have to use. Slower absorptions, rate of absorption depend on urine blood flow and the injection volume, similar like intramuscular. Other than that, intraperitoneal routes are there, so mostly used for laboratory animals that we have to apply. So drug can be directly administered into the subcarotid space, and thus the effect will be localized to the spinal nerves. So that spinal anesthesia like drug, CNS infection like tuberculosis, meningitis, in that times that we have to apply it. Intra-arterial, so it is only limited for the administration of radio-opaque cues for the diagnostic purpose or the localized effect of that particular tissue or the injecting sites of the organ like hepatic arteries like that. So most widely used for the experimental work. Intradermal, so that time drug is given within the skin layers in the dermis part, so painfuls are there. Testing of that some sensitive drugs, that times we have to use that up the route. Intra-articular, so injections of some antibiotics, corticosteroids administered into the inflamed joint cavities by the expert. Example of hydrocortisone in rheumatic arthritis. The next one, that is pulmonary route of administration. So all the drugs that which are intended for the systemic effect can be administered by the inhalation. So inhalation is one of the routes are there for the administration of drug or absorption of drug, since larger the surface area of that alveoli. So here the advantage of that pulmonary administration. So rapid absorption, just like the exchange of gaseous between the blood and the inspired air. So the gaseous materials generally we can use, and the aerosol parts that we can apply for the pulmonary route. Lipid soluble drugs are rapidly absorbed by the passive diffusion. If water soluble drug, polar drugs are there, so that go administered with the pore transport. The factor that we have to consider, the particle size less than 10 microns, so that other than larger the particle size, so that not reach to the pulmonary parts. Properties of propeller, such as vapor pressure, the toxicity, solvent actions also affect. Effect of drug and additives on mucous viscosity. So that time, these are the factors that we have to consider for the pulmonary administration. Then intranasal administration. So that nowadays that becoming the increasing the popular route for the systemic delivery or systemic absorptions for the drug, some peptides and proteins. Advantages: rapid absorptions due to the high vascularic systems are the high permeabilities are there. That's why it increasing the popularity for the route of administration. After parenteral, that gives the rapid absorption. We can see from that high permeability and vascular nature systems are there. Drug from this route reaches the systemic circulation, may cross the blood-brain barrier. Factor that we have to consider with this route, they require the high lipophilic nature, smaller the molecular weight, around 200 to 600 items like that. pH of the nasal secretions, so that pH partition theory around 5 to 6 the nasal pH are there, so that time ionization factors, unionized drugs we have to require. Pathological condition such as common cold, like that also influencing the absorption by that route. Other route, that is intraocular. So we have to apply for ocular drug, the ophthalmic parts are there. So topical application of drug to the eye. So mainly meant for the local effect, such for the mydriasis, miosis, treatment or infection related to eye, glaucoma, like that. With that, we have to go for locally by directly we have to go to the ocular route. Nowadays we have to go for the sustained control novel parts like ocular insert, ophthalmic, novel ophthalmic drug release system. So we have to use to administer the drug with ocular route. Advantages, we can say that the lipophilic as well as hydrophobic, both biphasic we have to require, and both the drugs got absorbed from that route. pH of the lacrimal fluid influence the absorption of some weak electrolytes, so that increase that absorption of that part. Factors which consider, so rate of blinking shows loss of drug, viscosity of drug, so that increases the absorption of the drug. So pH of that lacrimal fluids, but it increases the absorption of some weak electrolytes. The last one, the route, that is vaginal administration. So drugs meant for intravaginal applications are generally intended to act locally into that particular treatment for bacterial or fungal infections. Easy administration, controlled delivery, and termination of drug actions when desired with these routes are there. Here we have to see the comparisons of different route. So here the route with their onset of action, absorption mechanisms, and the example. So buccal or sublingual route administrations are there, so their onset of action within 3 to 5 minutes. Passive diffusions, generally we can follow for the absorption, or carrier mediated transport also there. Some anti-anginal drugs or anti-hypertensive drug, nifedipines, like we have to administer by that route. Rectal route, their onset of action around 5 to 30 minutes. Passive diffusion mechanisms are there, aspirin, paracetamol are there. Topically, transdermal routes. In that part, we can go for the novel parts. Antophorosis, sonophorosis are there. So their actions also may be onset of actions within the hour. Passive diffusions, nitroglycerin lidocaine type of drugs we can apply with a transdermal route. Subcutaneous, we can go for the insulin parts, passive diffusion, their onset of action within 15 to 30 minutes. Inhalations like buccal sublingual inhalations also give the faster onset of actions, 2 to 3 minutes. Passive diffusion and port transport, both mechanisms are there. Example, salbutamol type of drugs we can apply with that inhalation. IV intramusculars, so that also giving faster onset of actions. In intramuscular, 10 to 20 minutes onset of action. Passive diffusions are there, port transport, endocytosis are there. So many drugs we can give with the intramuscular. Intranasals also giving the faster onset of action, better absorption, 3 to 5 minutes. Passive and port transport are there. Antihistaminic drugs we can give intraocular, so that used for the locally. Passive diffusion process are there. There atropine, pilocarpine, eye related treatments are there. That type of drugs we can give with the intraocular. Vaginal routes, some contraceptives, steroids, metronidazoles we have to give with the vaginal route. Passive diffusion is the absorption mechanisms are there. So these are, we can discuss about the different route other than the oral. So the drugs which we have to give with the oral route throughout the GI tract, the absorptions are there, but some problems are there in that oral route, so we have to apply non-oral or extravascular routes for the absorption of drugs. So these are the routes are there, and the mechanism of that absorptions and examples that we have to see. Thank you.